What I am going to do today, I do not recommend anyone else doing. You can if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think I can do this in a way that's safe enough that it won't kill me, but I guess we'll find out. Alright, so what we're doing today is... Can you see the negative camber on this guy? Both sides, really bad. Okay, why is that? Well, I've installed Agile Performance New Zealand's ST205 geometry rear suspension. And I have an ST205 rear axle. And I'm still running ST185 struts. So, what does that mean? It means that I have about an inch less strut. What do you call that? The tabs that come off the strut are about an inch shorter than the ST205 are. Therefore, it bolts in an inch more, which in turn gives you way too much negative camber. So what I'm going to do today is modify those with some steel plates. And I hope it goes as well as it goes in my head, because I think I can do it pretty well without it not being a big freaking nightmare. But I'm not 100%, so I guess you guys have to find out with me. This is what I'm talking about. These tabs to where it bolts to the hub. This hole needs to be an inch over from where it is. And I did have the opportunity a while ago, to work on an ST205, and I knew I was going to have to do this project. So I kind of measured that car's struts to see where theirs was, and it was this, but an inch over. So I feel pretty okay about doing this. Also, the construction of this leads to my idea pretty good. So basically what I'm thinking I'm going to do is have a plate that kind of welds to this, and then I'm actually going to plate the whole thing from here out to it on both sides. I feel like that'll be strong enough. I have enough confidence in my welding ability to make that happen. Oh, man. I've done rust repair on this car already, and every time I get underneath it, I find more. Stop rusting. Stop. Oh my God. I need some help with that. I guess I coated it with the wrong stuff, because it's just like coming through. Anyway, we're getting distracted. All right, yeah. So I need to pull these off, pull the whole coilover out, and get to designing. Okay, this is all being said. I could, in fact, buy a mixed matched pair of ST185 front and ST205 rear coilovers. I've talked to people that can get me a custom set of BC coils, basically, to make that happen. But here's the problem with that. It costs too much money for me right now. And I want to be able to drive this car. Yeah, we'll just stop it at that. So I'm going to see if I can modify these to work for my application. These are just CX Racing coilovers. They're you used to be able to get them for like $700. I don't know what they cost now, or if you can even get them. They used to be on the ST165 celica. And then once that guy kind of was over, the previous owner of that car was kind of over owning that car because it was a big pain in the butt. It had a hard life. A lot of that's my fault. He was just going to like part out some things on it for me, and I was going to buy the coilovers off of him. But then he just gave me a super good deal on that car. And I just guess that car wants to be with me. Anyway, so I pulled those coilovers off that car, put them on this car, put the suspension that was on this car on that car, and I've been driving that car around. It's been fun. Anyway, getting started. don't know if that's going to work. It kind of looks like it's not going to work. Yeah, I need to go deeper with that radius. Let's check the measurement between the centers of these holes. I think it'll work. I need to open up these holes slightly more, even though I made a measurement of this. When it got plasma cut, it's a little bit undersized. So, I guess what I could do is actually cut on the outside of that hole instead of the inside. That would probably do it. And I'm going to add another 1/8 of an inch to this radius. I'm going to be honest with you, that took a little bit longer than I thought. It took me about 4 tries to get that pattern right. Still not exactly right, but I'm going to touch it up with a grinder and it should be okay. Let's take a look. This is what we have. So basically, I'll weld this to that profile there. And then this, it's inset about an 1/8 or 1/16 or something like that. We'll weld around the exterior and also on top of this. So that should be good and strong. I'm going to throw these in the parts tumbler after I clean them up and let them get even more cleaned up. And then we'll go from there. I also have to prep this up, so that's going to take a little bit. I'm going to do that off camera. Opted to not tumble those parts. I am half tempted to MIG weld this. But I don't exactly trust my MIG welding skills. Pardon my hair. I don't trust my MIG welding skills. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm definitely not good at making it look good. And we'll just be using the TIG welder. As much as I'd like to be using a nice big cup and flowing a bunch of CFH, we're not going to be doing that either. We're just going to be bare minimum. Save the gas. All right, I'm going to tack these up, test fit it, make sure it looks like it's going to work, and then we'll get to blazing it in. Blazing? Who says that? Let's test fit it. Successful test fit. I slotted the top hole a little bit more than what they had, so we actually have a little bit more camber adjustment too, which we might need. We'll see. Man, I hope this isn't a terrible idea. It'll be fine. No going back after this. No complaints other than the smell. I should probably wait for that to cool down. Wrong spot, damn it. I'm gonna need to resharpen my tungsten. Pause. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work out pretty okay. I guess we'll find out, but definitely solid. Not my prettiest welds, but not going to see them. Who cares? May possibly plate this. Probably not though. I think that's probably going to be pretty beefy. Sweet. Let's try and install it, and hopefully it works out. That's set to max negative camber. Let's put a wheel on. I think that worked. I think it worked. That is by far the sketchiest thing I've ever done in my life, as far as fabrication goes. Oh my God. Now, the way it's set up right now, obviously the suspension's not loaded. I have it set to max negative camber. It does appear to have a bit of negative camber, but not near as much. And it's gonna get worse as it travels upwards. So I'll have to actually set the camber once it gets aligned. But I do have the adjustment, which is freaking awesome. Man, that worked out pretty darn good. I'm gonna get to cutting out the other side brackets, and I'll catch up with you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
What?